Back, and now we're taking a look at the impeachment saga. Governor Murtala Nyako of Adamawa State has been impeached by the State House of Assembly, putting an end to 2 weeks of extremely intense politicking over the fate of the governor. At some point, the governor was quoted as having said in the newspapers, I don't know how true this is, but one of the newspapers said he's going to appeal to the president to save his governorship. And then a member of the State Assembly was quoted in another newspaper as saying, not even the president of Nigeria will save him from us impeaching him as far as these issues are concerned. Last week, we had the SSA on Public Affairs to the Governor of Nassarawa State here in the studio, and we were asking the issue of impeachment. We said, is it on the table? Is there an issue here? And if possible, we'll ask that the tape be played back if my producer can very quickly get it. And his response was that we're not aware of any such thing. But a week in politics is almost a lifetime. Things seem to change very, very quickly. And what we have seen from last Saturday to this Saturday is frenetic movement and action that shows that the people of Nassarawa State, they're making it clear, we don't want our governor impeached. We saw some of them interviewed who are members of the PDP and some of them APC. Cross-party line saying we don't want our governor impeached. But there are clear elements within the State Assembly who are saying he has to go. And they're making their position clear. To have this conversation with us this morning, we have in the studio, I'll start from my immediate right, Dr. Ibrahim Uthman, who is a senior lecturer in the Accounts Department, University of Jos. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you very much.
And sitting next to him is a friend of the House who's a social commentator, Tokunbo Odutola. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
On the other side, I will start from my extreme left, is Mr. Tijani Sulaiman, who's the Secretary General, Arawa Youth Consultative Forum. And sitting next to him is the Senior Special Advisor to the Governor of Nassarawa State, Abdulhammid Kwara. Good morning and welcome.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Great to have you here. I will start with you, and that's why you were the last, and you will be the first on this occasion. Last week you were right here, sitting exactly the same position, and you said impeachment is not on the table, is not something we're aware of. What has changed, and how quickly did it change?
Thank you very much. It is a public knowledge that on Monday, now it's a public knowledge today,
okay,
that on Monday, the 14th of July 2014, the Nassarawa State House of Assembly, in a special sitting, resolved to serve the Governor of Nassarawa State, Tanko Al-Makura, with an impeachment notice. Let me confirm to you that as I speak now, we are yet to receive from the Nassarawa State House of Assembly the impeachment notice. However, some national dailies...
Is that because it was not served to the governor and it was just made public?
I wouldn't speak for that. I wouldn't know. But what is to us, they sat, resolved to serve him with an impeachment notice. As I'm talking to you, that has not been done. So they will be in a better position. If there were to be a member of the assembly in this panel, he would be able to speak for that. That is the position. But like I said,
but the governor is aware that there is an impeachment
I'm driving
notice.
towards that.
Okay, please
I'm driving
do.
towards
yes,
that.
thank you.
Like I said, some national dailies, day before yesterday or so, carried a publication which we assume are the allegations of impeachment against the governor of Nassarawa State. In it, the assembly is accusing the governor of extra budgetary expenditure and misappropriation. What that simply means, or in a layman's language, that the governor has expended more than what has been approved for him in the budget to spend, and at the same time does not comply with the spirit and letter of the appropriation law. Which of this appropriation law is what we don't know yet. But what that means simply is that for you to establish as to whether or not it is so, you must understand or establish the departure between the financial technicalities of budget provisions and the departure of the legal technicalities of the appropriation law. Unless we do that, we will not be able to say, yes, this is it, or no, that is not what is there. But the long and short of it, the bottom line is that the impeachment process has already been set in motion. We are waiting to be served with it officially. When that is done, we will respond. Thank you.
Okay, let me ask Mr. Tijani here. In terms of what we have on the table, we've had the issue of Adamawa State. The governor has been impeached.
Yes.
Is in northern Nigeria. We've got Nassarawa State. There's impeachment on the table. It's one of the things being raised now. And there might be others to follow. What is really going on, especially when you put it at par on the same level with the issue of national security that is going on in northern Nigeria, and yet this instability is being cost to governance by saying impeach this governor, impeach that governor?
Interestingly enough, I think Nigeria is going through a very vicious political turmoil, because it's either in the north, or it's in the south, or in the east. No space is guaranteed safety of political dramas at any point through the day or night. Because like you were saying earlier, a week ago, reports had it by the honorable gentleman here that all was well. Within a week, that dramatic change is too much for a political environment of a country like Nigeria, that an impeachment processes has been taken care of according to due processes, and then these services had even been met, and then information that filtered out officially to the public to this extent. Now, you can see that there is a finger, the devil's finger, walking around this country's political environment. Somebody doesn't want this country to move forward politically, because if you look at 1960 to date, our journey so far, by omission and commission of the situations that we found ourselves in, the military coup, the First Republic of Tafawa Balewa, and the subsequent ones that followed, it was almost seeming to be good every time the political atmosphere comes. Then something starts happening, and it truncates it. It sets us back twice down the ladder. So now when you asked what is going on, your guess is as good as mine, because in the north, those gentlemen who just left your table here were citing situations of, I heard Tony talking about the northern youth going to the emir and asking for secession. You see, this is very strange, and this is a very new thing, new dimension in the north. Now, where did it come from? It must have come from somewhere. It's an idea. Now, this idea, now secession's ideas was from some states that were known for over the years, who have been clamoring for it. Now, nothing happened. Nobody took them seriously. But up till tomorrow, if you give them half a chance, they are still going to go for it. There are some diehards who don't believe in this country called Nigeria anymore. Why? Because nobody took care to work on those elements of being a Nigerian. That identity crisis of a Nigerian, nobody cared. And that is one of the most important things.
So what's the position of Arewa Youth Consultative
Arewa Youth,
Forum? Do you
at this point in time, with the developments that we are seeing, we are, in fact, being hit from all sides. Because right now, we have made our positions very clear right from the onset, even at the National Conference position, that these delegates from the north, they were not the right delegates to represent the north. We have made those points clear because there was no point when the northern body sat and took this project home and got the people for whom this conference was meant to serve, to better their lives. Nobody knew what was going on. The tickets that were given to these delegates, 95% of these delegates there don't even know what they are doing because they never sat, even among themselves, to draw a very altruistic position, a matured position vis-a-vis what happened in the East and the West. You can see that the Southwest, and the Southeast were all positioned. They thought about what they needed. They thought about the opposition, and they knew when to even allow for compromises. But in the North, everyone was just reflect back at the Emir of Adamawa's initial dramatic speech. Nobody sent him for that. I don't believe anybody in his right senses in the North would have advised him to say, when you get there, open your mouth and make that trumpet call. Okay. But then he has done it.
All right, then maybe if we want to ask someone who's an accountant, Ibrahim Uthman, you're an accountant. Have you seen some of the allegations being made against the governor of Nassarawa State?
Yeah, I heard.
You have?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts when they say misappropriation, misconduct, and things of that nature?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, when I, got the paper, I went through, and I was actually amazed about some of the figures and the way they came about. You see, come to think of it, assuming those allegations were right, I'm sure they were simply using hammer on a fly. They should have known that this was more or less an issue that concerned all of them. What, other modalities did they make to get to the governor to respond to some of the allegations? You see, even if you are going to look at the extra budgetary spending as, leveled by them, there are constitutional provisions for that. When was this year budget signed into law? I think 28th of May or so. And there is an existing law that if the budget of a current year has not been signed into law, the government, the governor or the president can use almost 50% of the budget of the previous year. Now, you could see that it was just, I think the members of the House allowed a new member called the devil to settle onto their minds. Just gather some documents covering a period so that they could make a case. I'm simply saying that even if you are, as a husband, some strong allegations against your wife leveled, I think there's the need you give her free hearing. Fair hearing, so to say. Can you respond to some of these allegations? I know that we've had worst case scenario, and their punishments have never been impeachment in this country. I'm sure we all are Nigerians. And if you look at that, some of them are so funny. And you see, the drama surrounding this impeachment notice seem to be larger than the issues contained in the impeachment letter, if I may have to analyze it that way, because it's something that if it was properly done, fair hearing should be given to the chief executive to respond to them as best that he understands the cases being leveled. And that's the way I look at this issue.
So okay. Where is the devil? Okay.
In light of what he has just said, when the whole impeachment thing came into the open space, you saw the reaction of the people of Nassarawa. For 2 days, they refused to go to work, and they were protesting that nobody should touch their governor. Compare this to the case of Adamawa, where everybody who interviewed, oh, we are very happy. He looked after himself and his family only. So, in this case of the Nassarawa governor, Do you think that he should have been impeached, judging from what you saw on the streets after he was impeached?
Not Nassarawa,
No,
Adamawa.
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 Yes.
Very well, you see, to impeachment, if we are going to be realistic, it's twofold. Politics at play, rule of law at play. Now, if we break it down, I look at everything and say, yes, Americans have Hollywood, Nigerians have Nollywood, and we're having Pollywood now.
Bollywood.
The Adamawa scenario appears completely different from Nassarawa's own.
That's right.
What is basically happening in Nigeria today, which we are not aware of, is the revolution of the people. The people are beginning to gather some boldness to say enough is enough.
That's right.
The sins of Adamawa's